How are you, my people? Yesterday, the FA Cup really went ahead to obviously go down, and I really brought you the match reaction for the game of Arsenal, and it ended 2-1 in favor of Arsenal. And guess who was on target? It was none other than Noni Madueke, and then Ebelechi Eze, all scoring what we call scorches in a very good way there for you. So this FA Cup started on Friday. Liverpool obviously putting their big step into the quarterfinals in there for you, and yesterday we really had other three games that obviously had to happen, and I think today we're obviously going to be having another edition of games that I will end this video with. But smash like button, comment and share. If you're totally watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Rokani David is my name, and continue to subscribe because we want to hit how many subscribers? We want to hit 30,000 subscribers. Now I know Hero is really excited because he's really a prominent City fan, and he's one of those who wants to see City sweep everything into their trophy cupboard this so-called season. But all in all, they are still performing well already in the Carabao Cup finale. Now they are into the quarterfinals. They are playing Real Madrid. That is mid next week and mid the other week, and we'll see whether they will knock them out. And then they are still 7 points behind the team known as Arsenal, but them being 7 points behind the team known as Arsenal, they do have a game in hand. We don't know how the pressure will build up to this game of football, but it doesn't really look easy for the side of City. But let's get to this game of Newcastle. Now, Newcastle in the midweek beat United by 2-1, and over the weekend they had a chance to obviously play Man City again. Remember, in the Carabao Cup, who knocked out a team known as Man City? It was none other than a side called Man City. You know, they knocked out Newcastle. You know, and I think it was a double-edged game. You know, all encounter, and City won both encounters. I think at St. James's Park 1-0, and at Etihad, City beat them I think by 3-1 in there. So when they came in here, the FA Cup, Harvey Barnes in the 18th minute went ahead obviously strike fast, you understand, and everyone was like, maybe Newcastle will obviously do the needful. But 21 minutes later, Savinho leveled up the game, and first half ended 1-1. In the second half, 2 minutes into the second half, it was Omar Marmoush, you know, giving City the first lead of their game. And then in the 65th minute, it was again Omar Marmoush giving City a 2-goal lead against a team known as Newcastle. And Newcastle had to obviously implode in there for you, and they really had nothing to do to save themselves from this side of City that looks like at this juncture they are really doing things that are supposed to be done by teams that are really looking out to win the trophy. But one of the big positive impacts into this particular encounter was all about to me, what made news for me yesterday was all about Omar Marmoush. That is it. When you look at Omar Marmoush, ever since he returned from the African Cup of Nations, he has been firing up all cylinders. He has been really doing his best as a player, and he has continuously put in a very huge shift for the side of City. Now, when you look at the Premier League, in the Premier League this season, he's not really doing well because they're just going to hit return 1 goal and 2 assists, 16 games. EFL Cup, obviously, 2 matches and he has 3 goals. FA Cup, you see how he's really trying to turn up things in there for you. And I tell you what, he's not gonna stop. He's not gonna stop. With Erling Haaland having issues with his fitness, I think Omar Marmoush has gonna hit to raise up his hand at the particular time, and he has gonna hit to put in a shift. I really liked how City are really building this squad, and I repeat it, next season City is obviously gonna be the team to beat. City and Arsenal, you know, those are teams that obviously gonna be tussling it out for the trophy. You know, with my club Man United that I really support, if United strengthens its midfield, you get, and they also get another wide forward, I think it will go on well down for the club of Manchester United in there for you. But all in all, I want to let you know that City is through to the round of 8. But how did they really perform and how did they look like onto the pitch? And that takes us to the stats of this particular game of football. But for Newcastle, man, I don't know how Eddie Howe will obviously tell his bosses, and I think all he has to offer to them is to knock out maybe Barcelona and maybe make a Newcastle some good amount of money. But injuries have been really a very huge problem to him, and I don't think that they'll obviously recover before they get Bruno Guimaraes back, Fabian Schär, Steve Bootman. Those players, they need them. Walter Mede, their own striker, is also injured. So they're really looking very, very, very bad. Now, Newcastle had 10 shots. Man City had 18. 2 shots on target for Newcastle. 7 shots on target for Man City. 42% ball possession by Newcastle. 58% ball possession by Man City. 288 passes completed by Newcastle. 486 passes completed by a side known as Man City. 77%, that is the passing accuracy, and for Newcastle, and City had 89%. 10 fouls committed by Newcastle. Man City committed 18. 2 yellow cards to Newcastle and 0 to Man City. No red cards were shown in this particular encounter. 2 offsides to Newcastle and 0 to Man City. 3 corners to Newcastle and 9 corners to the side of Man City. Man City dominating almost every positive in this game, and that's why you shouldn't be shocked of the result that really went ahead, obviously, gate in here from this game of football. Now, yesterday, the other fixtures that are really going ahead to be played. Chelsea went ahead to beat Wrexham by 2-4, and Arsenal beat Mansfield by 2-1. Man City beat a team known as Newcastle by 3-1. And in these 4 games, you'll see that Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, and Man City all played away from home, right? And you're heading to the quarterfinals. Now, today, we are having Fulham versus Southampton, Port Valley versus Sunderland, Leeds United versus Norwich, West Ham versus Brentford. Now, the other 4 teams, Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, and Man City, are already in the quarterfinals. They are waiting for these ones. And I tell you, by the end of today, we'll obviously be knowing who is obviously going to be playing who in what we call the quarterfinals of the FA Cup. That is it. So that's what I had for you in here about Man City. But City is having a very tough fixture. That is it. Tough fixture, but this one is out of the way, and they've knocked out Newcastle, and they're really having quality. I tell you, City is really having good players. I saw to it that the manager was taking, is it Phil Foden and bringing on Ryan Chucky? And I was like, oh my God, and I think the manager was really managing this game, thinking of the game of Real Madrid that City is going to be playing in the midweek. That game is obviously going to be huge at the Santiago Bernabeu. But City is really good. If at all you're having Ruben Diaz there, you are having Mark Guehi present for all these fixtures, I think they stand a very huge chance to obviously give Madrid a beating of their lives. And we hope that even Erling Haaland really shows up, because we all want to see Erling Haaland versus Kylian Mbappe, what really happens again. I think last season they met, and it was City that went ahead to knock out Real Madrid. And can City knock out Real Madrid for 2 consecutive seasons? That's what I'm here waiting to see, whether it obviously go that way. So your reactions onto Newcastle 1, Man City 3 are welcome in the comment section below. But Omar Marmoush is on fire and is firing up over cylinders. I really like his style of play. And there are some narratives that I obviously come up and really start, that people might obviously say I'm really mad. But I think Omar Marmoush is a more complete number 9 than Erling Haaland. That is it. I leave it for you. Go into the comment section and let me know whether I'm right or wrong. I've said Omar Marmoush is a more complete number 9 than Erling Haaland. And I have my reasons. Because Omar Marmoush, link up, hold up, play, great, He can score any kind of goal that you want. He has these solo efforts. He takes off players, good in tight spaces. His game awareness, space awareness, he navigates into spaces, is really out of this world. And I think in the absentia of Erling Haaland, the guy has shown us exactly what he's made of. I'm out. Bye-bye.